What is up, guys? It is Fernando back here with another SmackDown recap and review. Today we'll be going over the March 20th episode. To start the show off, it was a seemed to be a car accident outside the arena with Drew McIntyre and Jacob Fatu, as Drew McIntyre seemed to have hit Jacob Fatu and pulled him out of the front of the windshield of the car and started beating him up, just blood all over Jacob's face. They continue this into the arena, out into the crowd, and over ringside, where eventually Jacob Fatu gets the upper hand and continues to beat Drew McIntyre until he's on the table and comes back and splashes Drew through the table. And this is a very important part of the show, as that's the kickoff. So we'll get back to that later. But the first match on the card of the show was Damian Priest and R-Truth versus the MFTs. Now, the match started off with the MFTs playing the numbers game, continually doing interferences, getting distractions, and eventually just continually working Damian Priest throughout the majority of the match. Nothing too special. And then eventually, Damian Priest gets that hot tag to R-Truth. R-Truth comes in the match, does his 5 moves of doom, copying Cena, and again, the numbers game come back for the MFTs. So they get the upper hand slightly, but then the Wyatt Six decide to come interfere, and that takes away the MFTs, and that just leaves JC Mateo and Tama Tonga. Meanwhile, in the ring, JC Mateo and R-Truth are in there together, and R-Truth is able to get the upper hand and hit him with the attitude adjustment to win the titles. Now, I think this is personally the best decision for the tag team championships for the tag team division. Now, with R-Truth and Damian Priest, this gives the tag team division way more life. You have a tag team that is fun, it is interesting, and this pairing is the perfect pairing that WWE likes to use. They like to use a serious character who is a known winner, a known commodity in Damian Priest, and a funny, entertaining character like R-Truth, who is able to win over the fans and keep this very interesting, all in the meanwhile having Damian Priest to win the matches. So the result of the match was just brilliant to me, and it was the right decision, especially going into Mania and hopefully getting the SmackDown Tag Team division, bringing it back to life and getting that potentially on the card, or just even making it interesting. Now, on the other side, the Wyatt Six, WWE needs to get serious. They are a complete joke. As soon as they started coming out with the face paint, they were a complete and utter joke. This faction is just horrendous. I hate everything about it. Not only are they just bad, but they brought Solo Sikoa down. Solo Sikoa has improved. He's done a lot to his character work, and it's been really funny, really entertaining. But he's just stuck in this portal with them, and none of them are interested. There's no charisma, nothing. So, at the end of the day, I think that they're just going to continue their feud with the Wyatt Six, and that'll probably go on for another 3-4 months at this point. I mean, it's just a lost cause. WWE needs to do away with that whole thing, and from then on, I really have no idea what you do with either of these two factions. They don't really fit into any storylines, or they don't have the interest that WWE thought they would to get into any interesting rivalries. So at the end of the day, I believe they're going to continue that. But on the positive note, we got some fun tag team champions. And then we have this, of course, our favorite, Danhausen, has a run-in with Candice LeRae and Johnny Gargano. Johnny Gargano is doing his little plank on some rolling cart, whatever. And Johnny Gargano and Candice LeRae, actually, is asking Danhausen to uncurse him. And he asks for $2. And she gives him $2, and he just takes off. Doesn't uncurse him, doesn't do anything. He just wanted $2. It's funny backstage segment. But the best part of all this is I'm starting to love is Danhausen doing his little runaway after every merch promo, after every promo. It's just hilarious. It's funny, fun little segment. And then we got another Sami Zayn backstage promo with Kathy Kelly. He's just glazing Cody Rhodes pretty much the whole time. Nothing fun. I mean, nothing interesting. And then you get Trick Willie, who interrupts him. and just basically just trolling him. And eventually, this will lead to Trick Willie coming out and watching Sami Zayn's match. And then we got another match, the Motor City Machine Guns versus Fraxium. Now, this was obviously everyone knew it was going to be a high-paced, fun match, which it was. And in the end, Candice LeRae is outside the ring. Nathan Frazier gets hit into the ropes, and she punches Nathan Frazier. He gets rolled up, and the Motor City Machine Guns win the match. Um, it was a fun match. Where they go from here, I believe they start to build the tag team division with the new champs. And my guess would be maybe the Motor City Machine Guns are going to be the new number one contenders because they won this match. But which could be interesting. But I feel like they just need a little bit more development. All the tag teams just need a little bit more development. And I feel like R-Truth and Damian Priest can do that for the division. And next we get to a Randy Orton promo. He comes in, sets his chair down in the middle of the ring. He has a new RKO everyone with a little blood on his shirt. He comes in and he says that basically he's essentially blaming Cody Rhodes for what happened to him, saying that Cody was the one that brought this out of him, that Cody got into his head, and pretty much saying that from now on he is not chasing the love of the fans because that just leaves an emptiness in him, that he doesn't want that to be his legacy, is making people happy and being this go-lucky guy, fun guy, that from now on he just wants titles. He wants titles and to be a winner and world championships as his legacy, which is real good and all. But then he just snaps and he just starts getting his real beat red face and his veins popping out of his skull like the '09 Orton everyone wants, which it was fantastic. It gave me chills listening to him start to tweak out, and he was just going crazy, and it really brought back the old memories of old Orton, and the promo was just amazing. It was really simple, but it did what it needed to do, and it really got that feeling that he is evil again, that he is bad again. But the crowd, I mean, with all the respect, he's not going to get booed. It's going to keep going on and on and on. The crowds are going to keep chanting for him. They're going to keep chanting RKO. They're going to cheer when he does something evil. It doesn't matter. But the promo did what it had to do, and it was great. And the crowd loved it. Now, the next match we got was Sami Zayn versus Aleister Black. Now, this was an okay match. I mean, Sami Zayn and Aleister Black started going. There's back and forth, a lot of kicks, a lot of this. But then the real interesting part was Trick had his foot on the table. He was just chilling by the announcer's table, and Sammy hits it off, and Trick gets mad and throws the water at Sammy's back, and Sammy continues, turns, starts beating up Trick, and then once he runs back into the ring, gets hit by a black mass. 1, 2, 3, Aleister wins the match. But from this, I really don't get too much. I mean, maybe they do this little mini rivalry with Sami Zayn and Aleister Black, but I don't see that going anywhere. I think it's more towards Trick Williams and Sami Zayn, which I'm all for. I'm all for having Trick Williams on the show more, but mainly I just think this match was just to get a Trick Willie entrance, which is always great. I think they just want the entrance every week. It's a fun entrance. It's a blast. Everyone's going crazy. Everyone wants to start chanting Lemon Pepper Steppers and all that good stuff. So I think this is going to eventually lead into a feud with Trick Willie. It was pretty obvious that was going to happen, but okay match. But I'm more excited to see Trick Willie and Sami Zayn, and then potentially what Sami Zayn's gonna do instead of hitting these water bottles, going back and forth between being a good guy, being a maybe more towards a bad guy, and he's just undecided what he wants to do. So I'm excited to see where that goes with Sami Zayn, and hopefully can build a good story after this. Now, the next segment we had was the Jade Cargo promo. She comes to the ring and immediately calls Rhea Ripley to the ring, like always. And Rhea Ripley comes down to the ring, and Jade Cargo immediately starts going off of saying that Rhea Ripley's trying to pretend and be someone she's not, and all blah, 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 and goes in her normal spiel saying that she's that bitch. And Rhea Ripley comes back and says that the WWE Women's Championship needs her, that without her and Jade Cargill hasn't been carrying it, which is all true. And that it needs her basically to, and what basically welcoming Jade Cargill to the big league. It says, "Welcome to the big league, bitch." And what I got from this is Jade Cargill still doesn't have it. She sucks. In my opinion, she is god awful. She's average at ring and best, and her promos just make me want to turn on the TV. Honestly, it makes me want to shut it off. I don't want to watch her talk whatsoever. And so she says that bitch blah 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 blah, and she walks out of the ring, and Michin and B Fab are right in front of her, and they with the kendo stick. Michin has a kendo stick, and they continue to advance towards Jade Cargill. Jade Cargill's backing up like she's scared, and boom, uh, they're now with Jade Cargill. They turned heel. Whoop de fucking do. Um, this is bad. This is really bad. To form just a random faction, in my opinion, that makes zero sense. Uh, this is a bad look. So they go on and they go beat up Rhea Ripley, and eventually Jade hits Rhea with Jaded, and that's the end of this segment. Um, this is horrible. Jade Cargill needs to drop the title to Rhea at WrestleMania. No questions about it. She just doesn't have it, in my opinion. She has a lot of work to do, and I think it shows in the arenas. Nobody's interested in her. I don't think anyone online is interested in her. Everyone is purely there to see Rhea Ripley, and that's it. So that's that. I'm done talking about this shit. Now the next match we got on the card was an open challenge with Carmelo Hayes, the United States Championship. This match was, as everyone could expect, very, very physical. There was a lot of good spots here. Carmelo Hayes doing a nasty jumped over the top rope, landed on him, but then smashed his ribcage into the announcer's table. Really, really hard. Nasty bump. We had another one where Ilya's going to do his coast to coast. He gets hit with a first 48, and while he's up in the air, coming back down, he hits Carmelo with the H bomb. That was fantastic. He hits Carmelo with the torpedo Moscow, and then goes for a power bomb, in which he gets rolled up on by a sunset flip and gets pinned by Carmelo Hayes. Now the match was fantastic. Everyone knew that. Crowd loved it. Crowd really seemed in this match. And where they go from here, I'm not too sure. Do they keep running Ilya versus Carmelo? I don't think anyone would complain about that. Would it eventually get boring? Possibly. But I'm more interested what they do with Carmelo Hayes in the talks of WrestleMania. Will he get on that card is the biggest question to me. And I would feel like it would be absolutely criminal if he didn't get on that card. So I'm hoping that this just leads to maybe more open challenges in the next few weeks, and then maybe an open challenge at Mania. I just really hope they don't do Carmelo Hayes dirty and leave him off the card, even if it's just you just throw him and Ilya on the card and have a banger match. I wouldn't complain about that. I just want them to go back to, I believe, maybe WrestleMania 40, when I believe or almost every title was defended. I really liked that. So more matches. I feel like the more matches, the better, especially title matches, especially these young talents. Just need to all get on the card. So overall, that was a great match. Everyone loved it. And then we had this little backstage segment with Jelly Roll and Randy Orton. Jelly Roll basically just keeping talking to Randy Orton, telling him he's a good guy, that he needs to apologize for what he did, and this will play into later in the show. And then we had, in my opinion, the best segment of the night. This segment was absolute gold. It was comedy. I loved every second. I was laughing my ass off through every second of it. We had the Kid Wilson and Jelly Roll segment. Now it started off with Kid Wilson coming to the ring, calling Jelly Roll to the ring, and Jelly Roll coming down there looking for a fight. And Kid Wilson, of course, he's not toxic. He's not being any toxic, so he doesn't want to fight. He wants to express his feelings with words and fight with words, not toxic like Jelly Roll. Jelly Roll is just fucking fat and toxic. And so they starts reading a poem. The crowd seems to get into it. And then Kid Wilson starts reading off his poem, making Ozempic jokes, saying that how it really works, some other stuff, and then but the funniest line was that Kid Wilson said that Jelly Roll lost enough weight where he could see his willy, and it was comedy. His poem, it was great. But then Jelly Roll responds with making your mom jokes. It was great. So Jelly Roll turns his back. Kid Wilson attacks him from behind and starts beating him up. And it eventually leads to Kid Wilson going on the top rope and hitting this new. I haven't seen him do this yet, or I haven't seen many people do this. This cool looking corkscrew elbow onto Jelly Roll, and that was the end of this segment. But that segment was absolutely brilliant. The crowd loved it. Everyone was laughing their ass off. I've seen reactions on the internet, and everyone has seemed to love this segment. So I really feel like that this could get its way onto WrestleMania, whether it be adding The Miz and making this a tag match, because next week we have Jelly Roll versus Kid Wilson in a regular one-on-one match, which should be fun. But I wonder if WWE sees this getting onto the WrestleMania card, maybe doing a tag match, maybe Danhausen and Jelly Roll versus The Miz and Kid Wilson, because The Miz and Danhausen kind of going back and forth in the backstage segments. So I really hope that this ends up on WrestleMania, because this would be comedy gold. All four of them would be great. And another thing with Jelly Roll is he is absolutely phenomenal on the microphone. It's great. He does not stutter. He goes really quickly, and you could tell that it's coming from deep down inside of him, and that he cares about this business, which for some celebrities, Travis Scott, fucking bitch, he really cares. Jelly Roll really cares, and he tries to put out the best product, and that's exactly what he did tonight. And I believe that's exactly what him, The Miz, Kit Wilson, and Danhausen would be able to do on any given night, especially WrestleMania, in a little fun comedy match. So I hope that's where they lead in the next few weeks, and that's my prediction. Now we're nearing the end of the show, and we have the Irresistible Forces versus the Bellas. Now, the Bellas suck. I've never been a fan of the Bellas. They're god awful. They got this undeserved tag match against the Irresistible Forces, who, by the way, have been looking great as of recently. I'm not the biggest fan of them, but they look great. And I like Lash Legend because she eliminated everyone I don't like in the Royal Rumble. But anyways, that was it was an okay match. I mean, like right at the beginning, Charlotte and Alexa walk out and basically come sit ringside, and we all knew where this was going. It was going to end in disqualification, which it did. So they get into a fight outside the ring, and it gets disqualified. Charlotte attacks, who was it? I think it was Nia Jax, and start fighting. All teams going back and forth. Eventually, the Irresistible Forces get the upper hand and end up standing tall. So I like that. I like the picture of the Irresistible Forces standing tall. Two big women just looking strong. It looked great. And I'm really hoping that that leads to the multi-woman tag match at WrestleMania, which they could do. They have the resources, like I've said in the past, to do it. So I believe that they should do it. And we have these three teams, and maybe you throw in any other teams that they want to throw in, they could just throw into the match too. But as long as they get on the WrestleMania card, maybe potentially in a ladder match, I would really like that. But the most important thing to me was that Nia Jax and Lash Legend looked very strong. And then next we get, it was advertised was Jacob Fatu versus Drew McIntyre, but they, like I said at the beginning of the show, they were fighting all through the night. So the match never really happened. Fighting backstage, they're just fighting everywhere. And but anyways, so then the segment starts with Randy Orton coming out, and he's all joy, smiling, laughing, happy, high-fiving all these young fans, having a good time, like the Randy Orton we've seen the past few weeks prior to last week. And so he comes out all joyous, and he comes and when he was in that backstage room with Jelly Roll, Jelly Roll told him he needed to apologize. So he comes out and says he's going to apologize to Matt Cardona, who he attacked in the back for God knows what reason, why Matt Cardona was here, but I don't know. But he attacked Matt Cardona anyways. He comes in, calls out Matt Cardona to come to the ring so he can apologize. Matt Cardona obviously comes out. Randy apologizes, says he's sorry. blah 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 blah. It's kind of corny. Everyone knew where this was going, and he goes to hug him, and he goes to shake his hand, and boom, kicks him in the dick. And so he just starts beating the shit out of Matt Cardona, and wants to do the same thing he did to Cody Rhodes, where he beats him up, puts him on the announcer's table, puts his head on the steps. But then we have a boatload of security come in and stop it. I mean, we have 1,600 million fucking guys in there that can't stop one dude. He grabs Matt Cardona off the announcer, puts him in the ring where he had his steel chair, and starts beating him up again, starts hitting him, and puts Matt Cardona's arm through the chair. The security, again, back him up. 1,600 fucking guys can't stop one guy. And eventually, he gets loose and stomps on the chair with Matt Cardona's arm in it. And so that kind of goofy segment didn't really make too much sense, but it elevated Randy Orton as being this evil heel who just doesn't give a fuck about anything and was just going to hurt anyone and will do anything to get that number 15 world championship. So it did that. But at the end of the show was a little bit of a shocker as they're walking Randy Orton out. Nick Aldis and all the security, Jacob Fatu and Drew McIntyre appear on the big screen, and they're fighting outside on some ledge, some tall ledge. And the security and Nick Aldis go running out and go to try and stop them, and they keep fighting and eventually fall off this ledge behind some fence where we can't see them. And so they were fighting all through the night. Now, with this, I do not have a... With this, I'm trying to see the bright side. We're gonna get McIntyre versus Jacob Fatu sometime on the line, probably at WrestleMania, and I don't have a problem with this because I feel like Jacob Fatu just isn't quite there doesn't have the quite star power to get into the main event. And as much as it sucks for Drew because I really like Drew, they're not gonna put him in the main event. So why not just throw them together in like a bloodbath and just an all-out brutal war at WrestleMania, which is going to happen. I mean, it's going to happen. So sucks that Drew McIntyre can't get into the main event scene, and I don't feel like Jacob Fatu is quite there yet. He will be. But I like this for both of them. I really do. I can't lie. We'll do this feud. Hopefully it doesn't last too long, and then after WrestleMania they can go their separate ways. But I'm intrigued for now. So that was the end of the show. We will be back with another video Tuesday and reviewing Raw. So stay tuned for that, and thank you for watching. I'll see y'all next time.